What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Existential Stoic podcast. Quick fix number 30, positive self-talk. Oh, this is
Woo!
important. This is a good one.
Yeah, it is.
I'm Randy. That's my buddy, Danny. What's up, Danny?
What's up, Randy?
So today in this short little episode, we're just going to give you a couple quick fixes for how to maybe improve your positive self-talk. I will go first. And Danny will go
All right.
second, and then I'll go third. He'll go for, you get the idea. So
Yeah, back and
first,
forth, just like that.
back and forth. So the first recommendation for positive self-talk is be more positive. And this, I didn't realize this. This was something that, it wasn't until I read the book, The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale, that I actually realized my idea of positive I was just realistic. And then I saw that my
Yeah.
realistic was actually just pessimistic. So he had this suggestion where he said, like, every day or all day, he's like, if you just be more positive, and if you think you're being realistic, just be more positive. And then you start to see that, like, your realistic is just pessimistic. And so, like, you need to be more optimistic. So I would say with positive self-talk, a lot of people are being realistic because they don't want to, they don't want to push the boundaries of what's possible or, be pretentious,
Yeah.
whatever. Just be more positive, put it up the next level, start talking to yourself, but do it the next level. And then you'll start to feel the benefit of the positive self-talk.
I actually like that because you know what? It's funny. Like we often miss the most obvious things sometimes. And it's an obvious one, but it's true. Like the only way you're going to get more positive self-talk is by being more positive. You have to start doing that. And you have to understand what that means. And I think that's the funny thing that people forget, right? And miss. So
Yeah.
it's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, like most people think they're going to offend the universe by asking for more, by saying that they're more than they are, and it's just like, just give it a whirl. Why not?
Nah, go for it. Um, so I think my first one is, I think a lot of us when we're struggling with negativity and not positive, we're berating ourselves. Part of it is because we're not asking ourselves, how can I? We're immediately finding excuses, finding justifications for why we can't do something instead of just asking, how can I do it? How can I overcome this? How can I be better? How can I improve my situation? And I think, it's an important step is really changing the questions, rephrasing those questions, rephrasing the language really has a huge impact. And you have to be mindful of it when you do it. It's difficult, but you can.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to, like, when we're children, we kind of, like, we pretend, and that's like such an innate ability of our mind, but it's something we totally forget as we get older, that we can just pretend. Like, we can say, well, if for example, I was the best salesman in the area, how would I do it? And then
Yeah.
you can just, like, unlock this whole part of your mind. If I loved myself completely, what would that look like? And you
What
start
would it
to,
look like? And yeah, fostering that imagination, cultivating it, that thing that we lose for some reason when we get older, right? In this world that we suddenly see all negative and everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. So my next one for positive self-talk is, first we kind of amplified the volume of it. Now we're going to amplify the quantity of it. So there's this saying in computers
Yeah.
called garbage in, garbage out. And I like to think good stuff in, good stuff out. So, like, just by existing in the world, there's a whole bunch of negative impacts that come in. You hear the news or whatever, you know. So I just like to flood that with good stuff. So I'm constantly, first thing in the morning, I read good material. Then I'm listening to good stuff. I'm always listening to motivational stuff. So it's just like constantly filling myself up with all this good stuff, because I look at it kind of like overfilling a landfill with just, like, good stuff. There's the bad stuff underneath, but the more good stuff you put in there, the better it'll be.
I like that too, though, because it really gets to the heart of all the noise and the fact that you have a choice on which noise you listen to, what stuff you actually take in. And we forget this sometimes that, it is within our control to put the phone down, to not go to social media, to not turn on the news, right? You can choose to do more positive things, to look for more positive things or interact with more positive things. And that is fundamental. That's good. I like that. And that goes actually nicely with my second one. My second one is, when you're talking to yourself, I think a great question is ask yourself, would I talk this way to my best friend? And we talked about this before, but I think that question is so helpful because I know when I'm like berating myself or going off myself, it's like I say the most fucked up, horrible things. And I would never in my right mind say that to you or say that to my significant other or anything. So I think that's a great question because it gets you to stop and be like, whoa, I am being way too negative, way overboard. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then you could then say, well, what would I say to that person, or what would I do to that person, and then actually do that to
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly. Right.
yeah, that one's crucial because you you treat yourself so much differently than you would treat other people, and it's like,
Yeah.
why? Why?
So harsh, right? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So similarly to that one, my next one is I look at what my older self would say to me. and
I like
and I do this all the time. Like when I'm journaling, I'm like, I imagine myself on my deathbed, and then like that person coming back to advise me and being like, this is because that person loves me and like really wants me to succeed. And so
and they're rooting for you. Yeah. Their
yeah, yeah,
situation depends on it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I never looked at it
Really?
that way. Yeah. Yeah. So like they're my number one fan. So having that person come back to advise me is definitely helpful because it gives me that vision, and it also gives me the courage to do the thing that may be uncomfortable or unconventional or may not work out. But they're like, hey, at least you're trying and you're doing what you want to do. So I think that was a good one.
I like that one. I really like that one. That goes kind of with my last one too, which is my last one's kind of sounds counterintuitive, positive self-talk, but it's affirm your potential. I think a lot of times we forget that, we get so caught up in negative and blame. We forget about that we are capable of doing things. We have this power. And so it just means setting ourselves small tasks and achieving them, reaching those goals. And then we keep affirming that over and over. And I think that really helps too to build up that positivity and that right attitude.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great one, affirming your potential and building that snowball. Like I always look at it
Yeah.
like, I mean, they teach the debt snowball, so that's how I think of it. But like it's just it builds up and builds up and builds up, and before you know it, it's this huge monstrous thing with a ton of momentum. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
cool. All right.
Awesome.
So nice and quick and simple. That was the Existential Stoic quick fix on positive thinking. So thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell. Join us next week for the full length episode. I'm Randy. Later, Danny.
Later, Andy.